Go out in the cold air while you can. Take in some deep breaths, swallow some air. Remember, we're all in this together. It doesn't matter if we agree or disagree. What is up, my friends? Good morning. Man, it's an absolutely beautiful Wednesday morning here in Arkansas. It's enchilada day. Go down to your local enchilada store, partake in some Tex-Mex goodness. Also, go check out my friend. Are you dizzy? Because he's hardcore. All right. I want to first let you know that I love you and I care about you. I'm thinking about you. That we are in this together. We're all people. We're a family. Whether you understand that or not. That's the way I feel. I just have been having some conversations. I've had 2 or 3 good conversations. Our thumbs down person, respectful conversation, says what he thinks he says, or says what he thinks, and that's awesome. Then we had Richard Cartier this morning and last night commented about on the abortion is murder video. There's the link. That's not the only time I've talked about abortion. I don't consider someone a horrible person for having to make that decision when they're told is acceptable. When it's preached to you your whole life that it's okay to kill your baby. Here in Little Rock, Arkansas, famously, or where I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, when I was the age that was going to happen for us. It's famous that there was someone who bought the land on both sides of our clinic on on University Avenue, the big abortion clinic they were aborting babies. There was a line. And really, it was a bad situation. People were just for convenience, and it was during an era of partial birth abortion where they would, instead of now just reaching in and just pulling parts, and then lastly taking the brain like they do now, and then assembling the baby or the tissue into the form of a baby so they can make sure they got all of it. That's what they do now. Instead of doing that, what they do is, or what they did then, was reach in with forceps and grab it by the leg and pull it all the way out, just leave its head inside the mother, and then stab it at the base of the skull with a pair of hemostats, and then open them up and tear all the brain tissue up. And then, they killed the baby, ripped it almost all the way out of its mother's womb, into the point where it could not take a breath, then stabbed it in the back of the head, and then pulled it all the way out. So now they have to risk a lot more because of the law, because people realized that was barbaric, that was actually murdering a child, when you have to prevent it from taking a breath so that you can kill it first. So, I guess that it's semantics. I appreciate the argument, Richard. Twitter is the place to argue with me. I'm sorry, and I say that a lot. Lil Doggy Mike. Just go to Twitter, and I'll argue with you all you want about anything. Share this video with your friends on Twitter. Say your comment, and I'll have a discussion with you. I love that. or you can say your piece down here and you'll get a 1 or 2 response. I gave you a lot of comment this morning because this is an important issue, especially to me, because this clinic, get back to the situation, this clinic was famous for a man bought it up, and there were little crosses and graves everywhere on both sides. He just bought the land on either side of it, and did that. He stood out there himself for a couple of years, actually, with signs protesting it, the abortion clinic. So we had some counseling. The counseling that we got when we went there to abort our first child, they just advised us. They gave us options rather than the way they're doing it now, which is it's a medical procedure. Then it was a decision, and it was an important decision. So when you take the fact that that's a life, it's a viable fetus. If you had a pill that induced labor immediately, 7 times out of 10, these fetuses on their own would survive at the age that they're being aborted. Now, if it doesn't have a heartbeat and there's no brain matter, is it alive? I don't know. I'm sure there are a lot of cases, in fact, not in cases of mental retardation or some kind of just regular deformity like having paddle feet or anything like that. I know of a man who was born without arms or legs, who is one of the most inspirational people I have ever heard speak. And I know you know who I'm talking about if you've on social media. So, and recently there's a man with Down syndrome that gave a speech about abortion. I advise you, go watch that. We had our oldest child thanks to the advice we got at that clinic. And I'm glad we did. I can tell you that, and forgive me for talking about this, dear lady, but our children had Tourette's syndrome because she had had 6 abortions before. Our children grew up with nervous disorders. She's got all kinds of health issues. So you see, when you treat it like a cavalier medical procedure instead of what it actually is, then you do harm. And that is harm. Now, I'm not saying harm people. Like, if that mother is not going to survive childbirth, there's no fucking way possible that mother can survive childbirth, fine. If the child is going to be born without a head, yeah. But if you're just making a choice because you're too lazy to deal with something like that, I invite you, go watch Julie Hasselberger, her YouTube channel. She's got a son named Daniel, and that boy, when he laughs because his mother, you can feel his mother's love. We disagree vehemently on a lot of things. She disagrees with me vehemently. I love Julie, but on a lot of issues. But go check out Julie. She lives in Newtown, Connecticut, by the way. Great insight on the Sandy Hook massacre. But go and look at her talking to her baby, Daniel, who was born with, I think he has a brain condition, a brain disorder. But watch him smile when she talks to him. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, there's no point in aborting your child, killing your child because you're too lazy to deal with that child. Yeah, we have a lot of issues that we need to deal with. But thinking in extremes saying, oh, you're saying it's a black and white issue. I never even thought of it as a black and white issue. Abortion is murder. When you have to kill the child, it's murder. If you don't have to kill something, it's not killing it. You understand? But if that child has a heartbeat and it has brain function, can you imagine having your limbs torn from your body while you're safe in your mother's womb? And having your mother decide to do that. I hate to have gone on such a downer subject this morning, but I felt I had to address it. I think I was taken in the wrong context. Richard Carte, I don't know how you pronounce your name, but thank you for your insight. Thank you for your conversation. And I love you, whether we agree or not. I don't care. Now, I don't know why you thought you had to bring the president into this. I think you might think the president's thinking in absolutes too, and he's not. He doesn't think in absolutes. In fact, if you want to argue with anything the president has to say, all you have to do is go to Twitter and talk to the president, because you know he reads that shit. He's a populist president. He goes with what he hears the most. And if what he's hearing the most is your point of view, hell, that fucker's gonna go with it. I love you. I'm thinking about you. It's all gonna be okay. You're gonna have a great day. You people up there, they're getting this fucking snow and ice. It came through it just north of us. We got a big storm, but not no snow and ice. I love you. I sure hope y'all have a wonderful day. Think positive, be positive, act proactively. If you see somebody who's hungry or cold, help them out. Have a good one.
Lil Doggy.
They just want to put a box of ankle bracelets out in the middle of the desert, and when people come by, they just grab one. Honor system.